Has your mind ever been so loud that you catch yourself almost arguing with yourself, like in your head? Because you're doing all the right things and you're trying to focus on the positive, what you're working towards. But all you could keep hearing and focusing on and seeing in your mind are all the ways that it's still going to go wrong, that it's still going to end up bad. And it sounds like it's trying to prevent it from happening. It sounds like it's on the same team as you, but all that voice does is just keep criticizing how you're not doing enough and how, although you're putting all this effort into changing it, that it's not going to change it. It's actually going to make it worse. And the louder it gets, it's like this feeling of defeat starts to happen. And you still push through, you still keep going, but the voice is just nonstop. This will be something I will feel before every fight. Every fight, I would be excited, ready. I prepared for this. This is the exact moment I wanted. I signed the contract. I felt the rush. I still felt the fear, but it's like I saw more of myself as a champion than losing. And I felt called to do this thing, so I'm showing up. But then, almost like a ritual, backstage, the closer it got, it's like, okay, like you're 3 fights out. I feel the rush and okay, let's continue warming up. 2 fights out, 1 fight out. Now I'm backstage. I'm backstage because you don't know how long the fight's going to be. That the fight before you may end in a knockout. It may end in a submission, so you have to be ready. And you have to be ready to walk out. So being behind the curtain, hearing the crowd but not knowing what's happening, and not knowing how much time you have left before you go, is when your mind goes the craziest. Because then I'm feeling the rush of I'm here, but then my mind is thinking of don't mess this up. Don't lose. And then all the possible ways that I can lose come up, which I've already thought about in the fight camp in the 6 to 8 weeks. If I had that time, sometimes it'll be less. And it's just like the fear of getting knocked out. And my mind is thinking of all the ways that I could lose. So it means well. It's trying to help me prepare, but it's just making me feel more scared. So all that did was take me out of the moment that I needed to be in so I can show up. And this is what this episode is about, what this video is about. It's to help you change the narrative, help you change the voice within your mind, to get it on your side so you can show up for the things that you're putting all this effort towards. Because we're always working towards something. And we want our mind to be on the same page as us because that's the voice that we constantly hear. And when it's not on the same page as us, it feels like it takes so much more energy, so much more effort just to make even the smallest things happen. So although we know we're capable, this is the only thing that really gets us to question that. And this video will completely change that. So sit back and enjoy. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Mike. I'm a pattern breaking specialist, and I created this channel to help people reconnect with themselves. Now, this is part 2 of the Overthinking Cure series, and each video has practical tips to help you get out of your head and come back into the present moment, actually living your life. Part 1 was about how you need to feel your way through and not think your way through. So every time you catch yourself overthinking, part 1, definitely go back to watch it if you haven't seen it yet. The link is in the description as well. It helps you be able to understand the concept and the practice of trying to feel your way out of overthinking rather than thinking your way out of it, which will actually keep you stuck in overthinking more. There's nothing that really brings that feeling of disconnection more than when the voice in your head starts going against you. When you start to feel like you're your own worst enemy. It's kind of like that song, I'm my own worst enemy. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And because it feels so true, you know that this thing is really important to you. And you also know the specific way and how it's important to you. So it almost feels like the voice in your head is betraying you. And it's almost like you don't know what to do about it. You try to almost go like tit for tat, one for one. It's like you hear the negative thought and then you try to think about the positive one, but it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because there's a momentum that has been building in the background the whole time. So when you catch it, it's almost like the negative thoughts are going at about like 100 miles per hour. And it's like you're trying to get the positive thinking car to match that speed, but the negative thoughts are the one that has been in motion the whole time. And it's what's been practiced. Because it doesn't start in that moment. That voice has been subtle. So like I said in the intro, for me, when I was fighting, it would be when I signed the contract, I'll feel a rush. And I used to think that was normal because it's like, okay, I'm signing a contract that says I could possibly die, because it has to say that in the contract because that is a possibility when it comes to fighting. You don't know what's going to happen. And we have little gloves and we're looking to take each other out. Like we're hitting with everything we got. We have the permission to do that. And we're also like choking. We're doing everything to possibly win. So I started to look at that as a permission slip for me to kind of deal with the feeling of the fear and the anxiety that came up. My thought going into competition is I'm going to make the referee do their job, because then I'm not the one, like I don't have to worry about my life being at risk. If I'm making the referee do their job, that means the referee has to pull me off. And it's in little ways like that that I started to notice ways I can catch the voice early. Because as I signed the contract and I felt that rush, and I thought it was normal to feel that rush because I'm doing something scary, I started to normalize the feeling. And I really wasn't paying attention to the thoughts associated to the feeling because I started to normalize it. So I did a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions to prepare for MMA because I never did individual sports. I never heard of wrestling growing up in the Bronx. I only found out about like actual wrestling, not WWF, or WWE now. That's the only kind of wrestling I've ever heard of, like Stone Cold and The Rock. And so when I went to Pennsylvania during high school and I saw kids in like singlets, I was like, what are these long tank tops with shorts included? What are these onesies that people are wearing? And then like I found out that there's wrestling, but I still didn't know like what that meant. So I didn't have competition experience when it came to individual sports. I played baseball growing up. I did some football in high school. So it was always team. So to prepare for it, I did jiu-jitsu competitions. And the best thing is I could compete multiple times a day. So I got to be faced with that feeling over and over. And I started to notice how it affected me, because I would be confident. I trained every single day, took every single class. Like for my rank, I started teaching at blue belt, which was the second rank in jiu-jitsu. So white, blue, purple, brown, black. I already started teaching at blue because I was that technical. I was like, I really knew, I was really good. Still am. But that's how dedicated I was. I knew I was ready. But then I will always have these thoughts of what I didn't want to happen. I always kept having this feeling of like, don't blow it. And it would frustrate me and like piss me off because it's like, why is this even happening? Why does it even make sense to even think this way if I know it doesn't make logical sense? Excuse me. There's I know I could beat these people. They're the same rank as me. I could see the color of their belt. So it's like, why all of a sudden am I like scared and afraid and unsure and doubting myself in all these ways? And it used to frustrate me so much. And I'll be in my head and I'll go to compete and then I would lose because I wasn't fully there. So I got to play with all these different ways of how to deal with that moment. So then by the time I go to fight in MMA, I've already changed my relationship to the anxiety and the fear. I know how to compete because just competing in itself is a skill. So what I noticed is it's not that moment because I tried every possible way to show up. I tried mad and being angry. It's like I wanted to cause harm, and win by any means necessary, but I really wasn't focused on what I was doing. I was just overrun by the emotion. I tried being calm, then I was too calm. I tried acting like the voice wasn't there and it got louder. I tried really every possible way you could think of. And then I found that presence was the answer. But what got that to happen is to pay attention from the very beginning of training, just normal, regular training, and when I would make the decision to compete. Because there will always be a slight little rush. And then I'll be curious, okay, what am I thinking about in this moment? Instead of normalizing the feeling of like, okay, I'm going to compete, it makes sense that I'm going to feel this way. No, what am I thinking about right now? What was the thought that made me feel that little rush? And that was the moment that the negative car started to go from 0 miles per hour to 1, 2, 3. And to be honest, it was already going. It was already like 10 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, because before I made the decision to compete again, there were subtle thoughts in training of, I'm not doing that enough, I'm not doing that better, like the critic of, this is what cost you the previous win. This is why you lost before. And that could be a driving factor, and it is. But it's how you use that voice, how you engage with that voice, how you're training that voice to be. Because without realizing it, you're training the voice in your mind in how to speak to you. The same way like human beings, like people learn how to treat you based on what you allow them to do. It's the same thing with this. And I realized that in those moments, okay, I made a decision to compete. There's a rush. And there's these subtle thoughts already going. And they're very quiet because the moment is not close enough yet to really get that loud. And when I feel the feelings or the rush, it's like it gets loud for a second and it goes quiet. It's like, okay. And then as it gets closer, I notice like the rush will be more constant. I'll think about it more. And the voice would match the intensity of the feeling. And then the day of, when I get there and I smell the atmosphere, the environment, the space of a tournament, it has a, like, when you go to compete in places, it has a very unique smell. And yeah, it's like sweat and stuff, but it's different than that. It's I can't describe what the smell is like, but it stays with you. And nothing imprints the mind more than smell. When you walk into the space, the gym, the arena, and you catch that smell, and then you see all these people. Then the talk gets louder, the feeling gets more intense because it's like, this matters more. This is where it matters. All the training and all that didn't matter. This is what matters the most. And it's like, this is where you can't mess up. And again, it's like the car going 50, 60, 70, 80. And it's like, you ever been driving on the highway and somebody stops in front of you like pretty abruptly and you like press the brake? There's a panic of whether you could stop in time because it's so much momentum. And sometimes you have to like turn so you don't hit the person in front of you. So in trying to stop the thoughts, that's why stopping them doesn't work, because it's going so fast. That's not going to work. So what I found is, just like when you stop and you know you're not going to make it in time, so to make sure you don't hit the person, you like swerve. That's what you need to do, is change the direction of the thought. It's already picked up speed. It's already going fast. Stopping is not an option. And trust me, I've tried multiple times to try. I tried meditating to get it to stop. It's already going. Changing the direction is the best way to use the momentum in your favor. Use the speed of your thoughts in your favor. And the way to do that is when you catch a thought, you don't have to undo it. It's just notice, okay, this is the direction my thoughts are going in. Right now I'm thinking about how I don't want to lose. Okay. So that's one thought I caught. I don't have to figure out what it's tied to or anything, but I could use the thought. I'm thinking about how, let's say, I don't want to get choked out by somebody in a jiu-jitsu match or in a fight. Cool. That's true. I don't need to fight against it. That's a possibility. But what are 5 ways I can win? And I can include even that thing that I'm afraid to happen in one of those 5 things. So for an example, I'm afraid of getting choked out. Do I know how to escape chokes? Yeah. So I could escape and end up on top. Cool. That's points in jiu-jitsu. And in the fight, I'm in the dominant position. And then I could think about, for the other 4, what are some things that I'm good at that I know I could use in this situation, in this moment? What are some ways that I could win the fight? I'm really good at striking. I'm really good at controlling the distance. As I list those 5 things, then I'm outweighing one thought with 5 positive ones. I'm outweighing one thing I don't want to happen with 5 things that I do want to happen. And what that does, it's you're no longer pressing the gas of the negative thoughts. It's almost like you're not even needing to press the brake. You're just letting it coast. In the same way you would do that in a regular car, the acceleration of it, the speed of the car would just naturally slow down. And now instead of pressing the gas of the negative car, now I'm pressing the gas of the positive car, of what I want. And that starts to pick up. And I notice like I will feel the sense of like confidence, of remembering these things. And then there'll be another thought, right? Because again, this is the negative car is still faster than the positive one, so there'll be another thought. It's like, okay, cool. That thought is true too. And that's the thing too, is notice that I'm saying the negative thoughts are true because I'm not fighting against it. And trying to fight against it, it's still accelerating the car more because you're giving it more attention. Our thoughts thrive off of attention. So, and just letting it be of like, okay, now I'm afraid of getting knocked out. I don't want to be knocked out. Okay. Being knocked out is a possibility. That's true. What are 5 ways that I can still win? So again, I could still use that opportunity, not trying to change it. I could use that negative thought, not trying to invalidate it. It's just, I'm afraid of being knocked out. I have really good movement. amazing awareness. So, and as I continue to list those 5 things, I'm letting myself know that's not the end of the movie. That's not the end of the situation. And even if the worst thing happens that I'm so afraid to happen, of being knocked out, and if I'm put in a position that even looks similar to what I envisioned of how I could be knocked out, right? Because we also have the ability to see our thoughts. Just in listing those 5 things, I'm reminding myself of how capable I am to handle any situation. I don't need to know how I will end up on top in that situation, but I know that I'm capable of it because like I said, I have incredible movement, I have amazing awareness, and reminding myself of these things. And that's what you start to notice is the negative thoughts are not giving you the option of what would be your response. They're just saying, this is what's going to happen. Try to stop that from happening. And then listen to 5 things. You're not trying to stop something from happening, because when you see anything that resembles the thing that you're terrified of happening, it kind of feels like, oh no, the prophecy, right? The thing I imagined to happen is happening, and I know how this ends. And that feels defeating. So in listen to 5 things, it's like, even if that happens, I'm good. I'm still going to win. I'm still going to come out on top. And the best part is in reminding yourself of these 5 things. Every time I did it, those 5 things were the ways I actually ended up winning the fight. And it actually prevented that situation from happening. One, it prevented it because I wouldn't be put in the position to end up there, because I'm already moving with a solution in mind. So if I'm constantly moving and I'm aware, and like in that case, I'm not in a position to be knocked out. I'm not standing still, like scared, shook. Because that's what happens in fights when you see people like they're not moving naturally. It's because like it's the fight or flight, right? The nervous system is responding to what we're mentally rehearsing. So just by saying those 5 things, I'm mentally rehearsing how I want to win the fight. Second thing is, even when I am put in that position, instinctually, I'm responding with one of the 5 solutions, if not all 5. Now, that's 2 thoughts. 2 thoughts with 10 positive solutions. 10 things that you want to happen. And now what's happening is, as you keep doing that, this car is slowly decelerating without you even doing anything. You're actually using, it's what just came to mind is like Talladega Nights, right? So I don't watch NASCAR, but their whole thing, shake and bake, right? is, I forgot the co-star's name, but he would go behind Will Ferrell. And they're racing, Will Ferrell will go behind him, and then he would use the fact that he doesn't have to fight against the wind to pick up speed, and once he goes fast enough, then he could cut in front of him. That's actually what you're doing with this exercise. You're using the negative thoughts to pick up the speed of the positive thoughts, and then naturally, right, a 3rd thought comes up, you do another 5. Now that's 15 to 3. And without you even trying, the positive thoughts just pick up momentum and go, pick up speed and blast right through. And that's what I love about this tool, this exercise of 5, 4, 1. So that's the main thing I will tell myself every time I have a negative thought of something that I don't want to happen. Every time I have a fearful thought, it's 5 for 1. And it's short and sweet, that it doesn't take much like that long to remember. 5 for 1. And right there is just what are 5 things I want to happen instead of this one thing, in spite of this one thing. And as you do that, your body will respond in real time. It's not like you do it and then you feel better. No, as you're doing it, you'll feel your body doing like this to start to relax. Because again, the nervous system is responding to what it believes is happening now. Your body is telling you how you're using your mind. Because the mind is a virtual reality. It has the ability to paint the picture of life. That's why you can see your thoughts. Right? Even people that say that they're not imaginative, you could see what you're thinking in a way that like you can imagine how things are going to play out. You can imagine how somebody will respond to you. So it may not be like, you may not consider it like I'm seeing images, but the fact that you can see how somebody, or imagine how somebody can respond to you, or how they will act, or what they will say, your mind is painting the picture of life. And the mind also can get you to feel the emotions of what you're imagining. And that's the most powerful way to create the life that you want, to, become the person that you want, to show up in the way that you want to manifest. But when we're not aware of when we're doing that, how we're doing that, and we start to do more of the negative, then it puts us in the fight or flight or freeze. And then when we're given the opportunity that we want, each and every day we're always given the opportunity. But then we fight, flight, or freeze, then it feels like the opportunity is taken from us. And then we start to question our worth. Are we worthy of the things that we want because we're not showing up? Are we capable? And all that's doing is just reinforcing the voice that's already there. It's just increasing the speed of the negative car. And that's the vicious cycle that's happening. Jesus. I almost choked on my spit. That's the vicious cycle that's happening. And with the 5-for-1, what I love about it, it's not only is it a real-time way to change the cycle, but it's a way for you to take your power of choice back of what you want to happen. Because sometimes it feels like our thoughts are thinking us. Sometimes it feels like we have no say. Sometimes it feels like it doesn't matter what we do. Like the bad is inevitable. And this completely changes that. So as you start to play with this, notice how your body feels. Because in the next video, we're going to develop the sensitivity on how to catch this earlier and earlier and earlier. Because yeah, this is great to help to, change the speed of thought and like which thought you're giving more speed to, more power to. But you don't want to always wait for this moment in order to change it, because now you're missing all the opportunities that you could have changed it before. And the next video is going to give you the ability to train that sensitivity in a really fun and easy way. Because again, this whole series is getting you to the point where your mind is completely still. You're able to control your mind. Your mind isn't controlling you. And you'll be able to do so from this state of presence, from being present in the life that you're living. And if you feel really disconnected from yourself, you have that feeling of being just numb, completely emotionally numb. It feels like nothing is working for you, no matter how hard you try. There's a booking link in the description for a one-on-one call with me, because that will need direct attention from you, and I'll be able to give you guidance in the process of that to help you feel again, hear yourself again, and be present in your own life. So be sure to check that out. Now, to cap this off, in the comments below, let me know how it felt when you started to use the 5-for-1. What did you notice happening within your mind and happening within your body? Because throughout this whole series, we're actually connecting the two. And that's what starts to bring you to the sense of wholeness. You're no longer lost in your head. You're able to be in your body as well. So be sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm wishing you an amazing day. If it's nighttime by you, I'm wishing you an amazing night. And I will catch you later.